Hi everyone, my name's Nicole, and I'm the owner and designer behind Right at Home Stamps, and I'm super excited to be joining you today for the Stamp and Scrap Expo Mega Make and Take Extravaganza event. Today we're going to be creating this Slimline card project, which features an ink blended background, some festive Copic coloring, and a coordinating Slimline envelope. So if you're ready, let's get started. You'll want to start out by grabbing your kit, as I'll be walking you through the contents. First off, you'll see the stamp set that we'll be using today, which is a Right at Home stamp sampler that was created exclusively for this event. This set includes images from various Right at Home stamps, including some of our most popular designs. On the back side of the stamp set, you'll be able to see which sets each of the images comes from, so you know which set to look for on our website if you're interested in seeing the full designs. We'll be using every image from this sampler set today, so I'm excited to show you how we will be putting them to use. Next up, we have another exclusive product for this kit, which is my Mini Cloud Border Stencil. It measures 6 inches long and is double-sided. We'll be using this stencil to create our snowy background, and I'll be showing you a trick for creating a seamless design with stencils that are shorter than a typical slimline size. In the little glassine bag, you'll find all of your die cuts, which includes the car, wheels, and tree, as well as the coordinating die cuts for the Santa, elf, reindeer, and present images. This thin cardstock strip is what we'll be using to create our snowy hill border, and the larger panel is for our ink blended background. Your card base is already cut and folded for you, and I've also adhered this green cardstock panel to the front already for quick assembly. Finally, we have a white slimline envelope that we'll be stamping on, and your flyer, which features the coupon code you can use for 20% off your purchase on our website. You'll also notice that on the back of the flyer, there's a spot to write in any notes about different products that you may be interested in that I show throughout this video. This card will likely be especially useful in the second portion of today's video, so make sure to keep it handy. If you like to have written instructions handy, you can print out our instruction document to keep nearby. I also made sure to include a picture of the final design for your reference. I'll be following the same order as these instructions, so feel free to take as much time as you need on each step. Now let's get started on our snowy ink blended background. You can grab out your large white cardstock panel, the Mini Cloud Border Stencil, and a light blue ink of your choice. I'll be using the Ranger Distress Oxide ink in tumbled glass, but you can use whatever type of ink you most enjoy blending with. You'll also need an ink blending tool to sponge on the color. I'm laying down this placemat to protect my work surface from any excess ink, and I'm going to work on prepping my stencil. Since this stencil is rather small and slippery, I like to add a piece of painter's tape to the top so that my fingers can stick to it as I ink blend. This gives me a better grip on the stencil and allows me to easily move it across the panel. When I place the stencil in the bottom corner here, you'll see that it does not cover the entire panel widthwise. However, I designed the stencil so that you'll be able to easily line up the design to create a seamless pattern. One thing you'll want to watch out for is the right edge of the stencil. You'll need to avoid that area when blending the first section of your clouds so you don't make a harsh line on your panel. So to avoid that, I'm starting my blending about a ½ inch from the right side, in line with the largest bump. When you're ready, you can pick up a little ink on your blending tool, tap off any excess, and begin blending. You'll want to blend in small circular motions, making sure to leave enough white space above your blended section to allow for more cloud layers. When you're ready to add the second section of clouds, simply move your stencil all the way to the right and line up the last bump of the stencil with the last bump you blended on your panel. Then you can continue adding ink until your panel is finished. Again, you'll want to make sure you don't blend too close to the straight edge of the stencil so you don't create a straight line on your panel. To add variation to the background, you can try staggering the stencil in different ways. I used the large bump on the right-hand side of the stencil as my reference point for varying its placement on my panel. When I lift up the stencil here, you can see that the bumps from each cloud layer are slightly offset, which adds a bit of interest to the background. I did about 4 rows of clouds to cover my panel, and then I set it aside to dry. Now we're going to cut our snowy hill using the thin white cardstock strip from the kit. I know I want the hill to cover the bottom portion of the panel that doesn't have clouds, so I'm going to roughly estimate and get cutting. Basically, I'm creating a wavy edge that gives me a few bumps and valleys onto which I can adhere Santa and all the other images. Next, I grabbed out all the die-cut images from the kit, the sampler stamp set, some clear blocks, and a black ink that works well with alcohol markers. I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink for my stamping, but you can use whatever ink you prefer, so long as it works well with the coloring medium you choose to use. These images would be great colored in with pencils or watercolors, so feel free to get creative. I'm starting with the Santa image from the set, inking him up and looking through the block to make sure that I stamp him centered onto the die cut. It probably would be easier to place the die cut on a background that isn't also white, but luckily I stamped it pretty centered. Later on, we'll be using these same images with colored inks, so make sure that you thoroughly clean off the black ink from the stamps before placing them back on the sheet. So you can just continue stamping all of the images until you are finished. Okay, so now we can move on to coloring in all these cute images. You can also grab out the car, wheels, and tree die cuts from your kit so that we can color them all at the same time. From your own stash, you'll just need to grab a tiny strip of white cardstock, which will be adhering to the back side of the car to fill in the handle pieces with color. To color my images, I'll be using Copic markers, and to add details, I'll be using a white gel pen. So let's get coloring. Again, I'm starting with the Santa image, and I'll be sure to put the colors that I'm using on the screen here in the bottom corner. I just want to preface this by saying that I am in no way a coloring expert. I do very basic coloring and blending techniques. I use 2 colors at most, and basically just go back and forth with each color until I'm happy with the blend. That being said, I am really happy with the results that I achieved with my limited marker collection, so I hope that this is encouraging for you if you don't consider yourself to be a big colorer. Also, you'll notice that I popped a picture of the finished images in the top corner here so that you can see more closely where I ended up placing the shading. For the most part, I put the darker color on the edges and blended out to the center with the lightest color. So I'm just going to continue filling in my images here, so I hope you enjoy the coloring. To bring these white die cuts to life, I'll be using the same Copic marker colors that I used for the rest of the images. Here I'm adding a base layer of the lighter red shade and adding the darker color around the edges. I made sure to put down a lot of ink so that the car is bright red. With the dark gray marker, I'm going to color the wheels as well as the thin cardstock strip that will go behind the car handles. For the tree, I'm coloring the center with the lighter green and adding depth to the branches with the darker green. I added a few layers of color so I got a smooth blend. To finish off the images, I'm adding details using a bright white gel pen. I made dots on the cheeks of the Santa, elf, and reindeer, and even added some to the reindeer's back. I put just a few lines on the car body and added quite a few dots to the tree branches so that it looked as though it was covered in snow. Now we can move back to our sky and hill panels. Here I'm adhering the hill using some tape runner adhesive and placing it along the bottom edge of the ink blended cloud panel. I'm going to place this panel into my stamping positioner tool so I can stamp the sentiments from the stamp set, but you can easily do the same with a clear block. I placed the Happy Holidays in the top right corner and the And a Merry New Year in the bottom center. I'll be stamping both of these with the same Memento Tuxedo Black ink. The Happy Holiday sentiment has open spaces in some of the letters, so I decided to use my markers again to add some color to those spaces. I alternated between the red and the green and finished them off with some white gel pen detail. I adhered the panel onto my card base, and now I can start arranging all of my images to create a festive holiday scene. To adhere the images, I used either liquid adhesive or foam tape, which helps add dimension to the scene. To finish off the background, I used the 3 snowflake images from the set and stamped them across the sky using a blue ink. To add a bit of sparkle, I'm using Nouveau glitter drops in White Blizzard and placing a drop in the center of each snowflake and along the top of the hill edge. Once you've done this, your card is finished. Make sure to set your finished card aside in a safe place so you don't smudge any of the glitter. Now we can move on to our Slimline envelope. You'll want to grab yours from the kit, along with red, yellow, green, and blue inks from your stash. I'm going to start by using a light green ink and the stripe stamp from the set and stamp it along the bottom of the envelope. This will give the rest of our images a place to stand. Since the stamp is too short to reach across the entire panel, I started by stamping it once in the center and then lining it up to finish off each side. Next, I'm using a red ink to stamp the Santa image on the left-hand side of the envelope, and then I'll be going in with a darker green ink to stamp the elf right next to him. I'm stamping the reindeer image using a light brown ink on the right hand side of the envelope, and then I'll be adding the present image from the set using a yellow ink just to fill in some of those spaces around the images. To mark a spot for the recipient's address, I'll be using the Please Deliver To banner and stamping that in the same red ink right in the center of the envelope. To fill in some of the white space of the envelope, I'll be using those same snowflake images to add a flurry of snowflakes across the envelope. I tried to avoid the top left corner of the envelope so that you can clearly write your return address. On the back side of the envelope, we're going to stamp the Write More, Text Less image with the same dark green ink on the center of the flap. And here is what the completed envelope and card project look like. Just to add one final detail to this card, I'll be stamping the backside with the Handmade by Me for You with Love image from the set, just so that the recipient knows that this card was made with love. And here's our finished Slimline card and envelope project. I hope you enjoyed creating this set and are excited to kick off your holiday crafting for this year. We're going to be moving on to the second part of today's video, so be sure to grab out your shopping flyer as I'll be sharing some must-have right-at-home stamps in the next clip that you won't want to miss. Hello again. In this portion of the video, I'll be sharing some of our products, but before I do so, I thought I would give you a little bit of an introduction to who Right at Home is in case this is your first time hearing of us. So hello, I'm Nicole, and I'm the owner and designer behind Right at Home Stamps. The Right at Home brand actually started over 20 years ago by my mom and grandma, who opened a craft store in my hometown in Massachusetts. As the crafting industry changed over the years, we decided to open an online storefront and actually create our own product line of stamps, dies, and other crafty products. I've had the opportunity to design many of these items, and it's been an incredible experience to bring my own ideas to fruition. One thing that's been important to me when creating our line was designing products that make crafting and card making a happy and fulfilling process. I know for a lot of us, creating is something that brings us joy and helps us connect with others, so I tried my best to create a line that has fun and beautiful products that help you create those feelings of joy and connection in your own life. So with that being said, let me give you a closer look at some of our best-selling items. So to start off, I'll be showing you the full sets from which all the stamps in your stamp sampler came from. For your reference, I put all the stamp names on the back of the packaging, so you can search for them on our website for more detail, but I also will be walking you through them here. Make sure to grab your shopping flyer to keep track of any notes that you may have, and you'll see that our discount code is also listed there. The code is SSE20OFF, and you can use that at checkout for 20% off your entire purchase. And that code is valid until December 6th, 2020. Okay, so the first set is called Santa's Helpers. In the sampler set, you received the Santa, elf, reindeer, and one of the presents, but the full set includes a tree, another present, and a little candy cane. We also have the coordinating dies available, which cut out all of the images. Just as a quick note, I will be putting pictures of different samples up on the screen here, so feel free to take a screenshot to save them for later, or they will also be available on the product listings of the stamps featured. Up next is Fa La La, which you used the Happy Holidays and a Merry New Year from, but as you can see, there are a ton of other sentiments that would work great for your holiday projects. I love the whimsical font of this set, and I think its design really works well for fun and festive holiday cards. We also have these two sets, which are called Happy Mail Year 2 and Happy Mail Year 3, and they were used to decorate the envelope. So what we used was the Please Deliver To banner from Happy Mail Year 2 and the Write More, Text Less from Happy Mail Year 3. As you can see, I gave you just a small portion of what is actually included on these sets. There are so many little sentiments that are perfect for decorating envelopes, and they help make the recipient smile when they find your card in their mailbox. I'll be showing you another stamp in this Happy Mail collection in just a few minutes, so stay tuned for that. To also decorate the envelope, we used this little stripe stamp right here from our Holiday Ribbons stamp set. This set includes additional strip stamps that can be layered together to create different patterns. For help with putting the layers together, you can download our stamping guide for this set on our website. On the back side of the card, we stamped this heart image, which comes from Handmade by Me. There's some more sentiments on this set that are fun, like I make cards like it's my job, and snail mail is the best mail. These would also be cute on an envelope as well. Now from this set called Winter Pals, we just used the little snowflakes, but they do come from a larger set that has these cute kids all bundled up for playing in the snow. We do have the coordinating dies for this set, which also includes ones for the little snowflakes themselves. And then lastly, we have the Holidays Are on the Way die set, which is the car that we used and the tree, but there are also dies that create presents with bows and little flowers. I also just wanted to show you the layering guide that goes with this die set. This is available for download on our website under the Resources tab, and it just helps give you an idea of how the different pieces can be used together. As you can see, this car can be used for more than just holiday cards depending on what color you cut it out of. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the rest of our product line. This is our Happy Mail stamp set. It's the set that started it all for us back in 2015, and it was from this set that we got our start in this industry. As you can see from the design, it really focused on what it was that our company stood for and what it is that we love to do, which is to send handmade cards and to give people a little bit of happiness in their mailbox. It is from this stamp set that the rest of our line blossomed, as well as a miniature collection of Happy Mail stamp sets. So we have this one called Happy Mail Year 2, and then we also continued with Happy Mail Year 3. All three of these are incredible sets to have in your collection for when you're decorating envelopes and just want to add that little finishing touch to your card projects as they go off into the mail. So I hope you like these sets and that they inspire you to send some happy mail. The next set I want to show you is our Script Greetings stamp set. This is by far one of our most popular stamp sets. It has beautiful, bold greetings that help you create a card that is impactful and that stands out and that really communicates your message to the recipient. There are also additional word stamps included in a more delicate style that help you make a complete sentence with the bolder words. In addition to this, we have the coordinating dies, which are awesome because not only does it include the outline portion, which helps you to cut out whatever stamped greeting you decide, but it also has the words themselves, but in a die version so that you can cut them out of paper. This die set could stand on its own, but what you'll get with the stamp is the ability to complete the sentiment with some of the smaller phrases that I included. So for example, you could do the blessed word cut out of paper and stamp "so very" above the die cut and "to have you as a friend" below the die cut. So this gives you a lot of versatility with this set, which is something that is also very important to our brand. This set of products has not only been some of our customers' favorites, but also really loved by some of the designers that have worked with us, so there's a ton of samples using them on our website. I think this is a set that you will love adding to your collection. Another one of our popular sentiment sets is this one right here, and it's called Color in Sentiments. Now I'm going to pause the video here for a second because I want to tell you a quick story about this set and one of the samples that we have using it, because I think it really speaks to what we do as card makers. So a few years ago, we were set up at a stamp show in Florida, and this was just after the city of Orlando had experienced a horrific tragedy involving the LGBTQ plus community. And we had a woman come up to us to ask if she could take a picture of this sample that I have on the screen here, because she planned to purchase the set to make cards for the families of those affected by the tragedy, because she thought they could use a little bit of color in their life at that time. I think I will always remember this because I think we can feel like what we do by making cards is so small, but sending someone a piece of art that you created with your own two hands can really create an impact and show people that you value them and that they matter to you. So I just wanted to share this story with you because every time I pick up this stamp set, I am reminded of it. So the main idea behind this set, which you can see from the samples, is that parts of the sentiments are open so that you can use your favorite coloring mediums to add color and bring the words to life. The Be a Pop of Color in a Black and White world, I think, is especially relevant in today's world and could really help you bring a smile to someone's face that you may not be able to see in person right now. Okay, so again I'm showing you another one of our popular sets. This is our abstract floral set, and when you look at it, it might be a little bit intimidating, but if you're someone who loves stamping and loves creating different looks, then this is a stamp set that can really help you do that. Also, if you're someone who loves florals, this is one that has been very popular for us. So we have a ton of different solid images, leaves, flowers, buds, all different layers that you can mix and match together to create beautiful, abstract, and whimsical looking flowers. Of course, we have the coordinating dies available, which cut out the main base layers of the set, and we also have a stamping guide that's available for download on our website if you're someone that needs a little bit of help putting everything together. I thought I would jump around and show a different item. So this is one of our background stamps called Grid Background, and as you can see, it is a fabulous textured background that really is versatile and can be used for so many techniques, but also has the ability to just add that beautiful subtle pattern onto your background. It really can just help finish off your card by adding a little bit of texture. I'm going to put up a few samples here on the screen showing one of my favorite techniques using this set, which is heat embossed resist. Here I just heat embossed the background onto watercolor paper using white embossing powder, and then I smushed some ink from my favorite ink pads onto my work surface, spritzed it with water, and then picked it up off of my work surface with my embossed panel. This technique is super simple, but the results are always fun to see. So overall, if you're looking for a go-to background stamp that can work for many styles of cards, this is one that you have to have. Next, what I'm going to show you are a couple of different sentiment sets that have been very popular for us and that all kind of have a similar style. I think the popularity of these sets just kind of speaks to our brand's ability to bring together fonts and different styles of typography to create products that are beautiful additions to your collection and that inspire you to get those cards done and into the mail. So this one is called Peace, Love, Joy. It has this gorgeous handwritten font in a variety of sentiments. I've seen so many people use this set for their holiday cards, which is incredible and heartwarming to see, and I think it's one that you'll also enjoy. So going off of the last set, we have this one, which is called Be Thankful. It doesn't use the same exact font, but it does have the same feel, but with sentiments that are more fall focused. These were released at the same time and were made to be used with the coordinating products that I'll show here. This is our seasonal wreath die set that has all of the pieces needed to create both fall and holiday wreaths, and these sentiment sets were designed to fit inside the opening of the wreath, like the sample I'm showing here. And then lastly, we have our His Love stamp set, which features more faith-based sentiments, but again with the simple font paired with handwritten accents. As you can see, each piece in this collection has the same style, but each with a different focus, which can help bring you throughout an entire year of beautiful and classic card making. Next, I'm going to show you our sunflower stamp set, which has been rather popular for us. This is definitely a stamp layering set, so if you're someone that doesn't prefer stamp layering, then this one might not be for you, which is totally okay. But if you are someone who enjoys the process of piecing these layers together, then I encourage you to try out this set, even if it looks a little daunting. We do have the stamping guide available on our website, along with a few how-to videos that will help walk you through the process of creating realistic looking sunflowers. So make sure to check those out if you do decide to give this set a try. Okay, so the next little mini collection I'm going to show you are also stamp layering sets, and they are all cute forest critters. So I'm going to start off with this one, and it is our Cozy Cardinal stamp set. I will tell you, even though this is a cardinal and was released during the holiday time, I have found this set to work well for stamping adorable little birds that can be used on cards all throughout the year. I've made so many samples that I'll be showing you with this set, using various ink colors to create birds that can be used on spring cards, fall cards, or even a sweet Valentine's Day card. So we also have the coordinating dies available for you, and of course the layering guide to help you piece all these elements together. To expand this collection, I came out with the Nestling Owl set, which helps you build an adorable little owl with a striped scarf to help bundle him up for the cold. Again, the coordinating dies will help you cut out the images once they're all layered together. I'm super excited to try stamping this little guy in a winter color palette for the upcoming season. Next up, we have the Snuggly Squirrel. This one is really fun because it comes with additional images like the apple, sunflower, and acorn, as well as the scarf that you can layer together and put into his little arms. As you'll see on the coordinating die, we included this inner piece that cuts a flap into the arms so you can nestle the acorn in between them so that he looks like he's holding it. And you can see what that looks like in application here in these samples. This set actually sparked a funny conversation about squirrel fur over on my social media. I live on the East Coast, so most of the squirrels over here are gray, so I had no idea that squirrels can also have black fur, so that was interesting to learn about from one of our customers. But anyways, you can download the layering guide on our website, and I also have how-to videos for all of these sets on my YouTube channel as well. And then we have this stamp set called Forest Findings. So with these images, you can layer together a stump, pumpkin, leaves, a pine cone, and 2 different mushrooms, and these images help you create a little scene for your critters to be a part of. And again, we also have the coordinating die set. One thing I didn't mention about these sets are that they are a great addition to your collection because they're smaller. They're only 4 by 4 inches and they have a smaller price point. So if you're looking to maybe try out the stamp layering style, these sets would be a great place to start. And to finish off this mini collection, we have Critter Chat, which features sentiments that play on the different critter stamps that we have available. I also made sure to add a few more basic sentiments that don't necessarily need to be paired with a certain critter. So up here in the corner, I wanted to share a Slimline card that I made using all of these sets on one card. You have the cardinal, the squirrel, the owl, and all of the forest findings used together to create an adorable fall scene. You'll notice that the cardinal is also wearing a scarf, although one doesn't come in the set, so I stamped an extra one from the nestling owl stamp, and it fits perfectly around the cardinal as well, and helps tie in the snuggly scarves and cozy critters sentiment. So again, grab out all your fall ink colors and pick up these sets to have lots of stamping fun this season. I'm going to share a few more stamp layering sets, and these next few are some of my personal favorites. This is our quirky acorn set, which has all these different top and bottom images, as well as little texture pieces that you can build together to create adorable patterned acorns. This is one of my favorites because I love putting all of my ink pads to use. I'm sure you're like me and have lots of ink sets from different companies, and it's stamp sets like this one that help you get the most out of those collections. In the top corner here, I'm putting a little clip of another Slimline project I created using this set along with Snuggly Squirrel. I've really been having fun experimenting with seam building using the Slimline size as a base, and I just love the way this card came out. Again, we have the coordinating dies for this set, as well as a stamping guide on our website. Another fun layering set is our Fall Leaves stamp, which is one of our first seasonal sets that we released many years ago, but it's still a staple in my collection. This one is so fun because it offers you the solid images to stamp with all your colorful inks, as well as the outline images to use with pencils or alcohol markers. I love all of the samples we have using this set, including this embroidery hoop that was designed for us using the images from this set as a base for the stitching. So for a kind of spring version of our layering sets, we have this one called Fluttering By. This set creates these fun butterfly and dragonfly looking images that I've found to be perfect for adding a finishing accent to spring card designs. We have the coordinating die set here and a stamping guide available for download. I just love the samples we have here that were created by some of our designers as well as our talented customers. Now we have this awesome alphabet set called Folk Alphabet, which comes in a solid and detailed version that can be layered together to create a fun, whimsical sentiment on your card projects. I just recently had the chance to play with this set again to create a custom sentiment for my Slimline card that I'm showing here, and I just love the way it turned out. Up next, we have our freshly picked stamp and die set, which is, again, another beautiful layering set for any floral lovers out there. The idea behind this set is that you can layer together all of the different flower and leaf images with the little paper wrap to create a bundle of freshly picked florals. To finish off your wrapped bundle, you can either use the little string image or this banner that layers together to create the look of a dimensional banner. I found this set to come in really handy when I want to add a cluster of small flowers on a card to finish off the design, because there are so many options and styles available with this set. There is a sentiment set in our shop called Thanks a Bunch that was released as a coordinating product, and it has sentiments that fit on the banner from this set, so make sure to check that out when you're shopping. You can also download the coordinating stamping guide from our website for help with arranging all of the different floral options, as well as how to put the bundle together and the stamped banner. And the last few items I wanted to share are these sweet little kid images that were designed by Kimma Parrish. Up first, we have Pumpkin Spice Season, which includes 3 adorable girls bundled up in their sweaters, boots, and hats. One is holding a coffee cup, one is holding a sunflower, and the last little girl is playing in the leaves. I used all 3 of these girls on this vertical Slimline card that I created. It was so fun coloring these girls in and adding all the leaves around them. There's also a coordinating die for all the girls, leaves, and I even added a bonus Hello Fall phrase that you can use instead of the stamp's sentiments. For Halloween, we have this set called Boo Crew, which features 3 kids all dressed up in their costumes, as well as a bat and some candy pieces. I created this spooky scene card here, again in the Slimline style, which was inspired by a designer named Mindy on Instagram. Make sure to check her out. You'll notice that in the background I used the same Mini Cloud Border Stencil that we used on our holiday card project earlier, so it's definitely a stencil that you'll likely be using a lot. You may recognize this set from earlier in the video called Winter Pals. We used the snowflakes from this set, but these cute kids are also fun to play around with. I went for a very wintry and icy look with my coloring, but these kids look adorable in all sorts of color combinations, which you can see in some of these samples. As I mentioned in the holiday card video, I'm not the greatest colorer, but these sets have been perfect for helping me practice. Lastly, we have the Cup of Friendship set, which has 2 large girl images holding their favorite brews. I love the design of this set, and I've used it a lot to send cards to my coffee-loving friends. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed everything I had to share with you today. Make sure to head over to rightathomeshop.com to use your 20% off discount code. Again, the code is SSE20OFF, and it will deduct 20% off your purchase and is valid until December 6th, 2020. If you would like a direct link to my website or to any of the products I mentioned, you can check down in the description box below here on YouTube. Thank you so much to the Stampin' Scrapbook Expo team for putting together this awesome event, and I hope to join you all again soon. Bye!